Let's see, does this thing take it out any or not? It don't look like it. Oh yeah, it does. Okay. That backed it out a bit. Let's see if it brings it in any. It does better. Tell if it's bumping it up or not. Looks like it might be. It took it out. We'll give that a shot, see what it does. Alright. Just trying to get a little zoom on the camera if I can. See if it works a little bit better. So yesterday I went ahead and swapped some diffs around. Took the center diff out, put the locker I had in the front in the center diff, rebuilt the center diff for the front diff, and put 2.5 million in it and stuck that in there. I was going to throw it back together and run, but my parts didn't come in the mail. So I never actually got it fully back together. I said, I'll piss on it. We'll start here and take her from here and put the 2-speed in. These first and get them backed out a bit. Something I need to do is buy me some good tools. I think I might make another deal here real quick. Looks like I can do pretty good. I think find a couple parts and be good to go. It's just that little bit and that ball popped right back out, eh? I guess I need to get some different ends on that because they're probably about to pop. So I don't know if I've got any. I know I don't have any Revo ends. I don't think I've got any SSDs. The only ones I do have is the RC4L drives, and I tried one of the angled ends and it pretty much snapped and broke like immediately. So that was kind of a lost cause. Just want to pop a piece of this actually. This goes there. And then this morning, as I was saying in my video last night, doing the diffs, I swapped out the servos. I had a 444 when I got this in a trade deal. It had a 20 kilogram Amazon special in it, and it was acting up. Turns out the servo horn was stripped. It also had a $10 for 5 servo horns because I've got a couple of those here, but it was stripped out. The horn was. Servo's probably fine. Ooh, what did I do with that? One thing I'm not sure where I have. It might still be out in the other room. But there it is. That's the one. So I had a 444 and an Axial 6x6 I picked up for a build that I haven't started, and it was just sitting there. So I took it out and put it in here. But after talking to some people, and of course using it, it swapped out good, turned fine. And but after seeing some posts and stuff, there's a few people that did seem to have a few gear issues with it. So I had a 555 in my SSD Trail King kit, and it's way too much. That 555 was just a lot of servo for the SSD. Because that thing turns so smoothly. It's such a nice steering system in that thing. So I turned around and stole the 555 out and stuck the 444 in there this morning so I could use it this afternoon. My buddies come over and we hung out outside and did some crawling out back. And then I turned around, of course, and put the 555 in here. And that's what's in there now. I didn't hook it up because, like I said, I was hoping to get my order, and it says I might get her today, by end of day, but it's coming FedEx, which I believe on Saturday would have been U.S. mail, and it didn't arrive at my mail, so I'm thinking I don't want to see it till Tuesday. So I didn't throw everything back together. Plus, my buddies ended up all having to leave early. A couple of them didn't make it out. One guy's old lady hurt her back, so he had to go take care of that. So I never did throw it back together. And that's why she's at this point. So we will move her back there. Got her all nice and clean, as you can tell. Go ahead and pop this out. Whoops. You caught my video last night. You see, I had the tranny apart. I hadn't gotten into it yet, so I thought it'd be at least good to get inside and take a look. Ooh, got to look at, excuse me. And okay. We're gonna go this way. Where did I put it? No. It is. Instead of find the right box. They do it there. The one on top of everything. Maybe not. Not gonna fit in there with that because the width. Okay. Move this bad boy out. I didn't put no Loctite on that, but I did crank it up pretty good. So it wouldn't loosen up. Kind of a snuggie to try to get that in and out, so a bigger motor would be even worse. Trying to see how easy it was to pull this motor in and out without dropping the tranny case off, and it's almost going to be impossible. It'll be almost impossible because of the way it's set up. Come on, Jesus, no. All right. It ain't too bad. Okay. That's good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and worry about replacing the bearings in it for now. I got them. That thing spins quite nice as it is. Okay, let's dig into some direction. Few bearings, a couple of screws. One thing, that's what I was afraid of. Had one part but not the other, as everybody is saying. And my order didn't come in, so I didn't get the other parts. So I'm going to have to put it all together, but I'm not going to be able to shift it until I get my stuff in. And that's going to be in a couple days. So I should probably have the old lady go down and get some cigarettes. Now they got you undoing all sorts of stuff here. As you see, I didn't undo a bunch of stuff. I just popped the cage and rolled her back over and then undid the tranny and popped her out. You got to take the whole cage right off. You don't necessarily have to do that. Already had the radio box off. Yep, that step's done. That step's done. That step's done. This is the step I'm at. I already got up to step 8. Look at that. Who needs a manual? I could probably figure it out, but we'll pull the manual out just to kind of look for differences. I'm going to go grab a quick cigarette, so bear with me a moment. And may as well refill my coffee. Probably end up having to recycle soon too. Creamer. Make a pot after this one too. Oh, I'm gonna have to make some coffee before I try to refill. Ooh, take attention off that bag. I was working on the damn things earlier out in the other room on the table and stool by my front door and kind of hunching over a little bit. Ooh, that tore me up. Okay. So, not a word. That's interesting. You're backing this thing out. I'm showing, of course, the cup in, but I pulled her out with the axle shafts. They're showing an E-clip, and then, well, I guess they're really kind of not. They're showing, but yeah, they are. They're showing an E-clip, but it's on the outside of the bearing and not between the bearing and the gear. We'll see. I think it's between the bearing and the gear. Yeah, see, that's one thing that I can see there. It's not messed up per se, but they should have those reversed in the manual, because trying to put it together. And, oh, I see. This is the bearing that goes in the case here. So there is another bearing and E-clip. Boy, that thing just kind of slides in there. Almost don't really hold it at all. So there's an E-clip and then a bearing in the gear as well. So whenever you're doing an E-clip, always get them facing down towards your work surface and try to hold it in place, because they like to fly away when you do them and bounce all over the place. But if you hold it in place, you can generally just slip it off. So it's got us taking, oh, I gotta remove the spur gear. So that's something that doesn't show you removing the spur gear. It just shows it shows it on there all the time, but you gotta take the spur gear off to get the shaft out. So that's something else they don't show you in the manual. So okay, go ahead and slide that on there, because I do want to kind of leave it in place. Yeah, they got you pulling the shaft out, but showing the spur gear still on the outside, like it's just gonna sit there and float in the middle of air and hang. Once you pull the shaft out, and the spur gear is just gonna hang in midair there, guys. We'll go ahead and throw that back in the piece here. In there for now. At least that one fits in there a little snugly. Okay, so taking that off, I got us remove, showing that clip. Yeah, it looks like we got to take that clip off too. Pop you down. That's another way is, take the screwdriver into the little set and pop it back with your thumb in between it, so that E-clip can't go flying away. On shot shafts, they get to be really small. So set this here, move that up a little bit. Move this up out of the way. Over a tad. Set you over there, just doing stuff, so it's a little closer. So 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The sheets are done. Now, number 9. It's got the new gears set. So what do we do with this gear? It doesn't really, and of course it doesn't say. It does have this, take it off. It's still here. 32058. Looks like that one's, yep, right there. 32058. Okay, so it's still used. Take a look at this a little bit. Okay, so that will set there aside. Pull this out. It comes out like this. So where's my blade? New ones in it. I've seen people, talk about the shift hang-ups and not using this shaft. I'm going to go ahead and try to install it, but if I have to clearance out the case, because some people are saying the slot hole is a little snug and it doesn't quite fit right in there. The guide pin, which one it goes in, about the same. There seems to be plenty enough room for it. We'll slop around there. I think adding some grease to it and sliding it in there will make a big difference too. This case seems to have a decent amount of clearance around it. So it has a piece, the C-clip. It's going to be this gear here. Does it have a number on it? No, it sure don't. I can tell by looking at it. I don't think he used that one. Okay. Goes in like that. So E-clip, bearing gear, bearing, the shaft, the shift. Screw one to come out of the bag. You must have to pop this bearing out of here and use it. That one goes on that side. This one goes on this side. It's awful loose on there. That's better. Yep. Slightly different E-clips, so be aware of that. Those are two different E-clips on each end of your main shaft with your shift gears. So smaller size E-clip goes to the spur gear end of the shaft with the threads. Larger one stays on the outside most gear. Okay, so that's done. Now we need the center shafting gear. This big ass one here. That goes there. And then we'll go back in. Okay, so that one goes back in. Come on. Nice and smooth. Probably didn't see that too well, so I'm going to go ahead and pop this out, go grab my grease, add just a smidge of grease to a couple of these gears. Looks like they have basically petroleum jelly Vaseline in here for the most part. And it's pretty runny lube, whatever it was. Might have been a silicone base, I'm sure. But it was all slung off everything. I've got a marine grease that I use that's nice and sticky and waterproof, obviously, being a marine grease. It doesn't fling off. Another really good one is Gear Lube Red and Tacky. Or gear grease. Red and Tacky gear grease, or a good white lithium grease. They don't fling off under high RPM and just get thrown to the edge and don't really do anything like this stock grease they had in here did, and most of these other type greases. So go grab that. Alright, bring up a little bit. Stab a smidge in a couple spots as I spin this around. I just squirted a little out the end, and I'm dabbing a little bit on the gears. It don't take very much of stuff. Let me there. Dab a little bit around these two. Okay, all the greasing's done. Wrong way. And smooth it was, just a couple extra gears, but just that extra grease is sticky and tacky and slowed it down just a little bit. That's okay. She be lubed. So grease, 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 grease. Thread lock this. So that goes in there and must screw into. Okay, screws into that. Into the shift fork. So which part are people talking about having to grind down? Saying inside of the case, but where? Take a look here. Let's see why they have a support pin. Now people are saying, yeah, don't use support pin, but I think once its clearance is set up right, it should work. That thing does need to be pretty square. Without it, it's going to allow that pin to shift a lot, and that's really going to kind of cause a problem. Okay, that's where it needs to be in second gear, because that's the stock. Okay, I can see there where it needs to go in farther for first gear. second gets full engagement. Can't get any closer in there the second. But first it's still out a little bit. It could go in 16th. So let's see how we do. So if I'm hearing what they're saying, clearancing the cases, I don't see how that's going to work. At least not on that, because that's a bearing back there. Can't add no clearance to that. That doesn't slide any up or down. Okay, that's how. Both of those spin freely. And that one's locked in. That one spins the shaft on that side. That side spins freely. So when your shifter fork goes in, it's in all the way. It's actually hitting the back of the dog there. It's just that side of the dog isn't quite long enough to get all the way into the gear. But it looks like I'm getting full engagement, at least in my shifter fork. Okay, let me ungrease my hands. I like how they did this setup here with the screw into the shifter fork to help lock her all together nicely. Now when you put this together, there is a recess in your fork. And I add it up there a little bit. See a little recess cup in your fork. You kind of see that there, how it sets in. And then you've got a nub and screw that screws in there like that, and that nub will set into that recess. And as far as tightening it up, finger tight's probably going to be good, but I am going to go ahead and just grip these a little bit better. They're just a little snug on there, that way she's good. Okay. Kind of put together as a piece. It does go like that. That's backwards. Okay. So let me do this real quick, huh? A little bit of extra greasing. Grease that a little bit. I should have given you a couple new E-clips with these pieces. Put a little grease on that, even though it doesn't say anything about it back here. You should add a little grease because that's going to slide back and forth, and that's going to help make it stay a little bit smoother. And the line is important. Fully engages. I don't know what people see about it not fully engaging. It is fully engaging, at least on this setup. Just gotta make sure everything's set right so it does. I think that's the kick. Okay. Just gotta spin that. No other screws or nothing. That's going to be a bonus gear for strictly high speed. See why? Because it locked it all out. That's it all done, so it can't shift anywhere but to the high speed. It's gotta come out. Oh, let's see, that's got to be guided in. That's what's got me held up at the moment. Let's see. They don't show you removing this piece unless it's maybe on the very part. Yeah, okay, they do there. Didn't see that. Okay. Now we gotta line up the shift shaft to get in there properly. Make sure all those are in right. There we go. Shift shaft. Bingo. Okay. Feel good. Now, so it takes care of that. Tranny's all built. Spurish back on. Get down well. Not too bad. About 45 minutes. Got about an hour into the vid now, but that took about 45 minutes. See a little tightness in there. Slide through that case. And grease that on the back side of it a little bit. Okay. The rest of this little bit of dust and dirt in this because it's got something in it. Okay. These damn racings might be included with servo, but they don't fit these damn servos. I've got the Micro 99, and it's got a mini 25 tooth. Both of these damn things are standards. But it says micro servo. Aluminum 25 tooth servo sable horn micro servo. 2 pieces for Axial SCX10. And these are supposed to be the same servos that go on this thing. That whatever the hell it is. 109. Real cheap Spectrum servo that everybody burns out. It doesn't tell you what servo's got to go in there. So that's the part I was hoping to come in with the pack of pieces I got today. So, or supposed to get today, suggested from Panther over on the Arctic Crawler unit forum. Alright, so okay, let's slide through this piece. So that goes on. Damn, I think I can take this. Have to be damn perfect with the drill. Damn perfect with the center start. I'm thinking, throw this sucker out big enough. It's a little small, but I can start with that. So what if I want to take 2-speed out? Silicone is your friend. Stuff a little silicone caulk into this hole. Now, if you did this, what I did is I took the little block cap, as you can see here, and I put a hole in it, right in the center. I'm thinking, number one, it'll help stop dirt from splashing and getting up and into that position and causing dirt to get in around the shaft and stick to it and bind to it, causing it to bind up. But Now on the inside, if it was still sticky and binding because of the second shaft, and that's something else you should do, is a little Teflon spray on that shift shaft, the guide shaft. Putting a little Teflon spray on that, I didn't think about it. I should have grabbed my move slick and Teflon that puppy. Because if you did want to take that out, you only got one, guide in there, the actual shaft itself, holding it in place in one position. Just the spot right back here where it goes to the case. Yeah. Put a hole in there. It's a little tight yet. Definitely a little too tight. Thread this on for the minute, so I might have to open it up a little bit again. Still might not be quite big enough. Come on. Yeah, it's real tight. Try to loosen this just a bit because I did tighten it up pretty good. Not the actual one, I think. Kind of work. Didn't work well. It's still tight, so I'm going to try and go ahead and slim that a little bit out again. Make it just a little bit bigger with another drill bit. So we get it moving smooth through this cap piece, because I think that, like I say, at least going to take a lot and keep a lot of the dirt out from getting inside the tranny as it works through that shift hole, and then also binding up the shift lever as it's getting through there. Another option is just a rubber washer you could use for a boot, and what would work is a larger rubber piece. That is pretty sloppy though. That is already pretty sloppy. Put it on backwards for the help. Nah, because then it's going to stick out too far. This thing going to stick out that far. Close, because it does have that edge on there. It's using the Allen wrench to help thread. Thread this lever on the shift fork. Okay. So yeah, that could work. So that will work. So we're going to unthread this for a minute now. They've got her on nice. And then I got this Rude Dog case. I think there's some rubbers in that. So let's see what I might have in here. It's got some of the non-round ones. The squared out. I don't want the squared out ones. Let's see what else I got in the other room. So I've got yours. Take this out here. Okay. This is what I'm looking for, a pack of servo horns with the little rubber round gusset bushings. So your servo's got a little vibration isolation. That's what these are, is isolation bushings. We typically go in the servo. Well, that's not bad. That goes in there. How does that work? That might actually work out really quite well. I think we're to take and a touch of glue right on the back of that. It would go right in there, all the way back. Actually, I think it kind of does anyways. Sits all the way back anywho. Well, that's a good way to, I think, do it. Even though I thought that cap would work out really well, which it probably would if you were to stick with it longer. Okay. See if we can get you a better focus here. Little rubber bushing right here. This is the, you see, kind of pushing out. It moves a little bit as I move it. But at the servo mount bushing for a standard size servo, high-techs, Futabas sometimes have these round ones. Some of them, JRs, I think, have round ones. Some of them have the squarish style that I have in the Rude Dog one. So if you can find a round one, the little bit bigger ones, they've got a couple small ones for the mini or mini servos. But if you find a bigger round one, that works great for a little dirt bushing, and it's nice and smooth in there. So that may be a way to help keep things cleaned up. But yeah, I kind of like that. Now, unfortunately, this is where I'm stuck to a point with this 2-speed. see, I believe they got this one in here. Yep, and that one in the thing. That. And that goes in like this. So it's just tight. You want that to spin actually a little bit, so I wouldn't. If you got it too tight, you got this little silver metal, slide pin snug, and it's going to kind of grind and slide on the inside. If you leave that bolt just a little loose, not so it's sloppy, but just so you can spin it without any problem, that's going to make it even work better in that, because now it's not binding up on that. It's going to do what it needs to do. Okay, I will slip this. I thought I had a little Ziploc here. Maybe not. I've got one, just not out of these papers. So, but yes, this whole goes in there. Leaving that thing makes it slide a lot easier. Going that way. Oh, it's actually got to go in the other way. So undo this and unscrew it half turn. It is pointed the other way. Just notice that. I know they got that on with the flange down on top of the arm here, but if you were to move it flange up, drop the flange part on top, then that's going to capture that servo horn and not allow it to move up or down that much. And same thing, you still want to put this in and leave it loose so it spins the shifting flange shifting bushing, whatever you want to call it there. That may even smooth it a little bit better. want to move, so I'll back it up a little bit. Just until it moves free. That feels pretty good. Okay. So now I'll put that little piece on, as you see, on the top of the servo horn. And now it's not going to go. It's going to hold that servo horn on there. And if you wanted to lock it out in second gear, you might be able to have a little better luck doing it with this. Yeah, because that's just the rubber there. There it is. You lock that all down like that, and she ain't going into second gear. Not while you're running it, at least not yet. So I can just use a zip strip or something, just tidy that off to the shaft. That way it can't come out a second until I can get the servo and everything else in it. That's how that can work. So let me find the little zip line here. My littler ones is the bigger ones. That's a smaller one. Grab these and we'll zip back, the zip lock, because those I can stick in pretty easily. That's a drag. These things don't work. This is what I picked up, because it says, as you see, come on. Come on, focus, you piece of crap. Aluminum 25 tooth servo saver horn micro servo. 2 pieces for Axial SDX102. So these are supposed to be the 2 metal pieces for the SDX102 2-speed and dig servos. Or one or the other if you're only using the one, 2-speed or the dig. But these aren't for a Ryft micro servo horn or 25 tooth micro servo spline. They're for a standard tooth. So only thing I can think of is the Spectrum 109 servos that are meant for that shift piece are standard 25 tooth splines. And I need the one for the micro servo, but for everybody else, the one you need is what comes on the servo when you buy it. You got me. This is for the Ryft unit. And that's supposed to be the big kick, is, you know, is that Ryft being, you know, powerful servo. Okay, so I can make that work. This can go there. These can go back here. This. They can go in with the servo horn for now, because they're just spare parts at the moment. Or I should say the servo saver spring and such. I don't know if I'll need that, but I might. There's another possibility I can see possibly working here, especially with just the Ryft micro horn, which I got one of those coming too. Forget this part, this stuff, and just screw right through this and tie in right to the Ryft micro servo horn. You just got to make sure when you set it up, you get it set right and your end points are set properly so you don't overstress it. So we'll put this here. We'll slide that there. Seeing if Joe exo cage there took one of these plastic Ryft horns and bent it up a little bit and made it work. Damn it. Yeah, I need that little cat piece. Because even at that, that's just not in deep enough. Although I could set it a little lower, notch that out a smidge, just to let the servo set down a little lower. So you did that, then that would put the top of the horn at the shaft. Okay, so that's another possibility. Take the mount for the mini servo, notch it so you can, on the edges here, on the side, when it sets like this, you would end up, notching it about VA deep, and then, put a notch in there so your servo could slide in there. So wherever the servo is setting as of right, pretty much there. You would have that shaved down so the servo sat about, so the top of the servo was setting just about, just higher. Just a smidge higher would work. Actually, we wouldn't have to do much. The width of the mount, if you shaved off the width of the mount on your mounts, so it was just that little bit lower, that would work perfect. That's what I might end up doing. I may say fudge the servo saver part, just trim this case down a little bit, let my servo drop a little bit farther, and then come right off this piece. Maybe put that on there. Yeah, no, that wouldn't work. But anyways, that could just a shorter screw, just screw right to the top of the servo arm. Okay, cool. Well, that'll be an easy install with either the standard horn now, or the Ryft mini horn, the metal one, or the pieces parts that are supposed to come with the servo parts tree that I got coming. Okay, so you can go there. All right. This can go where? Grab this other piece. There was a little washer on here. There it is. Little shim washer. That might need to. It was on the inside. There's a little tiny shim here. 4mm shim it looks like for the main gear shaft. That was up in there, so that would have held the shim off. Although my gears look lined up, so we'll put it in there. I know where it's at. I've got more of those, but we'll put it in this so it stays with that. Didn't see that earlier. Actually, I think I did, but kind of ignored it. So. Okay, and that's pretty much a 2-speed install. Really not that tough. Pretty good, honestly. Nothing too bad. Okay. Now, I have decided I'm going to go ahead and go with the censored setup. I'm thinking leaning heavy on the Tekin, but I might go with the Castle or the Tekin RX4 in Holmes motor, depending. So I would like to kind of, not really say crawl, but I would like to have the ability to have some nice low speed control when I do get some of that stuff. And the other option is, do I want to change pinions right now? I don't think I do. I've got a couple smaller pinions, a 13 and a 15. I think that's going to be plenty. Mostly for what I'm doing anyways. Okay. I like how they set that up to with zip strips, at least zip slots in there, so you can turn around and get your stuff in. Can't do that yet. We got to tighten really soft in there. There. That one's better. Okay. Some that I can use. A few other bags here with some screws in there. I think they're all long now. No, I got that one. Down here. Okay. Yeah. Anything I shorter? No. So okay. Tighten that up. She's ready to go back in basically from there. Front. So that's the 2-speed. Nothing very hard to it. Little grommet for mounting a servo, which will help keep it clean. The shift mechanism, shift gear. A little bit of lubing. I think she's going to be fine. And once I get the, excuse me, so I get her in the right spot. I might have to go look at the downloaded manual and double check. But I'm going to pause right there because I am hungry and need to get some food. I'm sure the kid and lady's kind of hungry today right now too. Gotta go get some cigarettes. So we're going to call it a shot on putting together the 2-speed and taking it out and installing it and putting it back in, and a few little things that I seen. Again, I didn't see anything needing to be modded or trimmed in this piece. Everything seemed to do pretty well. I was watching, look at the cogs in the middle, and it was fully engaging. Feels tight, but obviously that is the spur in gear because you can slip this back a little bit and get her in neutral. And transmission rolls real smooth. I might take the cover off and readjust my mount holes and double check that I got them in the right holes. Other than that, we're gonna color the video and go from there. Thanks a lot for hanging out, checking up. You come back and watch later, hit the like. I'd appreciate it if you'd hit subscribe and share. When you hit subscribe, for notifications, you hit the bell and the 3 dots. Hit that 3 dots after you hit the bell to get notified, because YouTube defaults to personal notifications, meaning unless I send you a personal notification, you won't know. And this is on all your YouTube channels. So when you're subscribing to somebody, hit the alternative menu, the 3 little dots, and choose all notifications. That's probably why a lot of people are missing those notifications, because YouTube changed that. It used to default on all, and now it defaults on private. And I think they've done that purposely. But anywho, they'll have some reason why they did it. That sounds all nice and cushy and sweet and calm. But they did it so is you subscribe to people, you don't get notified until after the fact. So that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. And I'm an asshole, so all right, that works good. Thanks a lot. You guys have a good day, and we'll talk to you later.